that likes to watch. People sit behind screens, pointing fingers at everyone else's chaos, feeding off it like vultures circling a dying beast. Hell, I've seen it up close. The rot, the indifference, and the cold, hard truth. Nobody is coming to save you. No knight in shining armor. No easy answers. But that's the thing about rock bottom. It's the perfect place to build something real. You think pain is your enemy. It's not. Pain is your goddamn teacher. It's the voice that tells you, get up, fight back, keep breathing. They tell the world I survived. So if you're sitting there, doubting yourself, thinking you're too broken, too scarred, too far gone, listen to me. You're exactly what this world needs. The world doesn't need perfection. It doesn't need knights in shining armor. It needs people who've crawled through hell and come out the other side, still fighting. They'll tell you to follow the rules, to play it safe, to keep your head down. But the truth is, the ones who change the world don't follow the rules. They break them, they rewrite them. They burn the old ones to the ground and build something new from the ashes. You don't need anyone's permission to be who you're meant to be. Screw permission, screw waiting. The time to act isn't tomorrow or next week, it's now. Right now. But the worst battles aren't fought with fists. They're fought in your head. The ones where the voice in the back of your mind whispers, "You're not enough. You'll never win." That voice, it's a liar. Shut it up. You think being a hero means perfection? Bullshit. I've made mistakes, big ones. I've let people down. Hell, I've even hated myself for it. But here's the thing. Redemption isn't a gift. It's a fight. Every damn day you choose to be better. Not for glory, not for applause, for yourself. And let me tell you something else. Fear. Fear is fuel. I felt it every time I put on the cowl. Every time I dive into the darkness knowing it might swallow me whole. But fear isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's proof you've got something to lose. And it's proof you're alive. People ask why I keep going, why I risk it all when the odds are so goddamn bleak. And the answer is simple, because somebody has to. So here's the truth. The world doesn't owe you anything. You're not entitled to success, happiness, or even peace. You've got to earn it. You've got to fight for it with every ounce of grit you've got. And when the world tells you no, you hit back harder. But remember this. Strength isn't about how much you can take. It's about how much you can give. To the people who need you. To the ones who can't fight for themselves. That's what makes you a force to be reckoned with. And don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Perfection is a goddamn lie. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. But start. Because if there's one thing I know, it's this. There's no justice without sacrifice. No light without the dark. No victory without the fight. So stop looking for an easy way out. Stop blaming the world for your scars. Take them, own them, and wear them like armor. Because the only way to beat the darkness is to become the fire that burns through it. You want to be unstoppable? Then get up, keep moving, and never ever let them break you. This isn't about being a saint. It's not about being clean or polished. It's about being real. About fighting for something that matters, even when it costs you everything. They'll call you crazy, dangerous, unhinged. Wear it like a badge. The people who change the world have always been a little insane. It takes madness to believe you can fight against the tide and win. So let them doubt you, let them mock you, and then prove them wrong. Please, take this short break from your video. We know how important the videos are to you. So all we ask from you is to support the channel by purchasing your special Inspire Network hoodie or Inspire Network coffee cup. Please enjoy the rest of the video. Pain is your goddamn teacher. It's the voice that tells you, get up, fight back, keep breathing. Every scar I've got tells a story, and none of them are pretty. Broken bones, shattered trust, blood spilled on Gotham streets. You think that was enough to stop me? Not a chance. Because when the world pushes you into the dirt, you don't stay down. You claw your way out. You don't wait for a miracle. You become one. You know what they don't tell you? Courage isn't born in comfort. It's forged in hellfire. It's staring your demons in the eye and saying, not today. It's watching everything you care about burn and still finding a reason to fight. I fought monsters, real ones. Men who tear apart families for a quick buck. Cowards hiding behind their power. Maniacs who think chaos is a game. But the worst battles aren't fought with fists. They're fought in your head. The ones where the voice in the back of your mind whispers, you're not enough. You'll never win. That voice, it's a liar. Shut it up. There's a fire in every one of us. Some smother it, afraid of what it might reveal. Others fan the flames, reckless, letting it consume them. And then there are the few who master it, control it, harness it. We live in a world where fear is a currency. They'll try to buy your silence, your surrender with it. But let me tell you something. Fear is the most honest thing you'll ever feel. It's raw. It's primal. It's a voice in the dark whispering, you're not enough. And maybe, at some point, you weren't. I wasn't. I've been broken, beaten, left in the gutter with nothing but my anger and my guilt. I've had the weight of my failures chain me to the ground, screaming that I'd never rise again. But I did. You know why? Because pain is a damn good teacher. It sharpens you. And the scars you carry, they're not weaknesses, they're your armor. You think being a hero means perfection? Bullshit. I've made mistakes, big ones. I've let people down. Hell, I've even hated myself for it. But here's the thing. Redemption isn't a gift. It's a fight. Every damn day you choose to be better. Not for glory, not for applause, for yourself. And let me tell you something else. Fear is fuel. I felt it every time I put on the cowl. Every time I dive into the darkness knowing it might swallow me whole. But fear isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's proof you've got something to lose. And it's proof you're alive. People ask why I keep going. Why I risk it all when the odds are so goddamn bleak. And the answer is simple. Because somebody has to. So here's the truth. The world doesn't owe you anything. You're not entitled to success, happiness, or even peace. You've got to earn it. You've got to fight for it with every ounce of grit you've got. And when the world tells you no, you hit back harder. But remember this. Strength isn't about how much you can take. It's about how much you can give. To the people who need you. To the ones who can't fight for themselves. That's what makes you a force to be reckoned with. And don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Perfection is a goddamn lie. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Gotham, a city of shadows and light. A city where every corner holds a story. Stories of triumph, of failure, of loss, and redemption. Tonight, I want to talk about failure, about falling, because in the end, it's not about how we fall, it's about why we rise. I wasn't born into this armor. I wasn't born a hero. Like all of you, I started as someone searching for purpose, searching for strength, searching for answers. And in that search, I fell, over and over again. Failure isn't just a moment, it's a mirror. It shows us who we really are. It strips away the masks, the illusions, the lies we tell ourselves. When I lost my parents, when I felt the weight of their absence, I asked myself, why? Why did this happen? Why did I fall into this pit of grief and anger? Falling teaches us. It teaches us resilience. It teaches us humility. It teaches us the value of standing up, of fighting back, of moving forward even when the odds are stacked against us. When I was a boy, I fell into a dark, cold pit, the kind of place that swallows you whole. That's where I first encountered fear. It's where I learned what it means to feel powerless. But it's also where I learned something else. I learned that fear, as crippling as it can be, is not the enemy. Fear is a teacher. It's a reminder of what's at stake, of what you stand to lose if you don't keep fighting. So, why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. So we can understand the strength it takes to rise. So we can appreciate the light when we finally step out of the darkness. Look at this city. Gotham is no stranger to falling. It's fallen into corruption, into fear, into chaos. But every time, it has risen. Not because of me, not because of Batman, but because of the people. Because of the fire that burns within each and every one of them. The fire that says, I will not give up. I will not give in. That fire exists in you too. It's there when you face a challenge, when you're pushed to your limits, when you think you've got nothing left to give. It's there when the world feels like it's crashing down around you, and it's that fire that will help you rise. I've made mistakes, more than I care to count. I've fallen in ways that I thought I'd never recover from. I've let people down, people I cared about, people who believed in me. But even in my darkest moments, I found a reason to stand up, a reason to keep going. Sometimes that reason was justice. Sometimes it was hope. And sometimes it was just the knowledge that someone, somewhere, needed me to try. Because it's in the falling that we discover who we really are. It's in the falling that we find our strength, our purpose, our resilience. It's in the falling that we leer. The answer wasn't immediate. It rarely is. But eventually I realized we fall because the ground teaches us. It shows us the cracks in our armor, the places we're weakest. And if we're brave enough to face those cracks, to mend them, to grow stronger, we rise higher than before. Every failure, every fall, every bruise and scar, they're not marks of shame. They're reminders that we tried, that we dared to reach for something greater. And even if we didn't succeed that time, we learned. And that learning, that's the foundation of every rise. Do you know what separates those who make a difference from those who don't? It's not strength, it's not intelligence, it's resilience. The willingness to stand up, dust yourself off, and say, I'm not done yet. Some of you might feel like you're at the bottom of your own pit. Maybe it's a loss, a failure, a betrayal. Maybe it feels like the darkness is closing in, and there's no way out. Please, take this short break from your video. We know how important the videos are to you, so all we ask from you is to support the channel by purchasing your special Inspire Network hoodie or Inspire Network coffee cup. Please enjoy the rest of the video. Life doesn't owe us perfection. No, it's messy, unpredictable, and unrelenting. Every one of us has scars, visible or hidden. Each mark tells a story of a moment where we thought we couldn't endure, but we did. Think back to those times. Remember the pain, the doubt, the fear. And remember this. You're still here. I've faced more than my share of darkness, betrayals, losses, times when hope seemed like a luxury I couldn't afford. But in every shadow, there's light. Sometimes it's just a flicker, barely enough to see by. But it's there, waiting for you to reach out, to grasp it, to make it grow. Gotham, a city of chaos, a city of second chances. And like this city, we're all built on contradictions, strength and fragility, hope and despair. But those contradictions are not weaknesses. They're reminders of our humanity, of our potential. Falling isn't failure. It's part of the process. It's a chance to learn, to adapt, to grow stronger. Each fall teaches you resilience. Each setback builds resolve. And when you rise, when you truly rise, it's not just for yourself. It's for everyone who's watching, everyone who's counting on you, everyone who needs to see that it's possible. I've seen the worst this world has to offer. I've faced monsters, both in the shadows and within myself. But I've also seen courage. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. A single act of kindness, a moment of sacrifice, a refusal to give in. That's what defines us. Not the fall, the climb. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you've been led to believe. And every time you rise, you become a beacon for someone else. Your story becomes their light. Your perseverance becomes their guide. Why do we fall? It's to remind ourselves what we're made of. To prove that no matter how heavy the burden, how steep the climb, we have what it takes to rise again. And not just rise, soar. But let me tell you this. The pit isn't your prison. It's your forge. It's where you're tempered, where you find out what you're truly made of. Every time I fell, I thought it was the end, but it wasn't. It was a beginning. Falling taught me that pain is a teacher, that loss is a motivator, that failure is a foundation. You don't build towers of greatness without first laying stones of struggle. So, why do we fall? To learn how to rise. To understand the value of standing tall, to appreciate the strength it takes to keep going when the world wants you to stop. You, yes, you have the power to rise. You have the power to take every failure, every setback, every moment of doubt, and turn it into fuel. Fuel for your fire. You are not your failures. You are the strength you summon to overcome them. It's not the fall that defines us. It's what we do after. So, stand up, rise, become the hero of your own story. Because the world needs you, Gotham needs you, and most importantly, you need you. Remember, it's not about why we fall, it's about why we rise.
Hello, my name's Forrest Gump. Some of y'all might have heard of me. Folks say I've had an interest in life. Me? I just did what felt right at the time. Now, I ain't no genius. Matter of fact, my mama used to say, "Forrest, you are no different than anybody else." And she was right. 'Cause life don't hand you a map. It's more like one of them road trips where you don't quite know where you're going. You just hope the road takes you somewhere good. My mama also said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And boy, wasn't she right about that. Sometimes you'll bite into something real sweet, like love or a friendship. And other times, well, it's like one of them nuts you didn't expect, and it'll make you want to spit it right out. But that's life. You just keep taking bites. You know, there were times in my life I thought about giving up. Like when Jenny left, or when Bubba didn't make it home from Vietnam. Those times felt like running uphill in the rain, barefoot. But my mama told me, Forrest, you've got to put one foot in front of the other. And so I did. When I ran across America, folks asked me why. Truth is, I didn't have no fancy reason. I just ran 'cause I felt like it. And the funny thing is, along the way, I met folks who needed someone to believe in, someone who just kept moving forward. That taught me something. Sometimes just keeping going is enough to inspire others. Now, I reckon some of y'all are sitting there thinking, what's Forrest Gump got to teach me? Well, let me tell you something. It ain't about being the fastest or the smartest or the richest. It's about showing up, doing your best, and caring for the folks around you. Like my friend Bubba, he had this big old dream about shrimp. At the time, I didn't know nothing about shrimping. But after he was gone, I did it anyway, in his honor. And you know what? It worked out. We built something great. So if you've got a dream, don't let it stay a dream. Chase it. And if life knocks you down, well, get back up. There's a whole world out there waiting for you to take the next step. Now I know it ain't always easy. Sometimes the world feels real big, and you feel real small. But I learned something important out there on those long roads. Every single step counts. Whether you're running towards something or away from something, just keep going. 'Cause eventually, you'll find yourself somewhere you belong. So, here's the thing. Life's got its surprises, good ones and bad ones, but every piece, every moment has a place in your story, and your story's worth telling. Don't ever forget that. I ain't got all the answers, but I do know this. Life is beautiful, even when it's messy. It's worth living, worth running for, worth fighting for. So, wherever you're headed, don't stop. Keep going. You're doing better than you think. Now, go on and take a bite out of life. You never know what you're gonna get, but I reckon it'll be something pretty special. I've been running through life, sometimes fast and sometimes slow. And along the way, I've learned a thing or two. You see, the world is full of surprises, some good, some not so good, but every single one of them teaches you something important. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. If you've got something you believe in, you've got to stick with it. I also remember when I first ran across the country. Folks asked me, Forrest, why are you doing this? And you know what? I didn't really have an answer, but I kept going. Turns out, sometimes the why doesn't matter as much as just taking that first step. So whatever it is you're dreaming of, don't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. Please take this short break from your video. We know how important the videos are to you. Support the channel by purchasing a Inspire Network hoodie or Inspire Network coffee cup. Enjoy the rest of the video. Just go. You'll figure it out along the way. Life will hand you all kinds of chocolates. Some are sweet, like caramel, and some are bitter, like those dark ones nobody likes. But even the bitter ones can surprise you if you give them a chance. I've learned that it's the tough times that teach you the most. When Jenny left, when Bubba didn't come back, those moments hurt more than I can say. But they also taught me how to keep loving and how to keep going, even when it feels like the world hates you. So don't be afraid of the hard stuff. It's just another flavor of life. You know, Mama always said you've got to put the past behind you before you can move on. And she was right. Dwelling on what you've lost or what could have been, is like trying to run with your shoes tied together. You ain't going nowhere. Instead, think about what you've got right now. Like when I met my son for the first time, I was so scared. But then I saw him smile, and it was like the whole world lit up. So don't miss the good things right in front of you, because you're too busy looking back. Now, here's another thing. You've got to be kind. It don't take much to change someone's whole day, maybe even their whole life. Like Lieutenant Dan, he was so angry at the world after what happened to him, but all he needed was someone to believe in him. And once he found that, he built a whole new life for himself. So be that person for someone else. Smile at a stranger. Help someone who's fallen down. It don't cost nothing to be kind. And you know what else I learned? You don't have to be smart or rich or special to make a difference. I'm just a simple man from Greenbow, Alabama. And somehow I've been lucky enough to touch lives all over the world. You don't need a fancy title or a big bank account to do something meaningful. All you need is a good heart and a little courage to take the next step, even when it's scary. So here's my advice. Run your race, no matter how long it takes. Keep your eyes open for all the beauty around you. Love deeply, even if it hurts. And remember, every moment's a chance to start fresh. Life ain't perfect, but it's a pretty amazing journey if you let it be. Well, I'd best be getting on my way now. But before I go, I want you to promise me something. Promise me you'll live your life with all the love, hope, and courage you can muster. 'Cause you never know what's waiting for you around the next bend. And that's what makes it all so exciting. After all, life is like a box of chocolates. You just gotta take a bite and see where it takes you. Now, I'm not saying life is easy. It's not. Sometimes it's downright hard. But Mama always said, when you face a storm, you just keep on going. That's what I did. That's what you can do too. Whether it's losing someone you love, failing at something important, or just feeling lost, you've gotta keep moving. Now, you might think your dream is too small or too big. But let me tell you something. Dreams don't come with sizes. They just come with hope. And hope, well, it's like a feather on the breeze. It might seem light, but it can lift you higher than you ever thought possible. You know, one day I was running, and I realized something. Life isn't just about where you're going. It's about the people you meet, the places you see, and the things you learn along the way. Every step counts, even the little ones. So, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're running, working, or just sitting on a bench like me, make it count. Because life's too short to sit around wondering about the chocolates you didn't pick. Well, I've probably talked your ear off by now, but I hope you'll remember one thing. Life's a journey, not a destination. So take it one step at a time. You'll get there wherever there is for you.